Welcome to Mysteries to Die For and this toe tag. I am TG Wolff and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and producer. This is normally a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. Today is a bonus episode that we call a toe tag. It's the first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, and thriller genre. Okay, a quick note before we get started. Mysteries to Die For is moving to a Monday drop date. So beginning May 18th, look for us in your feed for your commute to work, as your treadmill distraction, or as your daily me time. Now, today's featured release is The Weight of Regret by Ken Harris. Okay, going with our more normal new format, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on it and then we'll go into the read. The Weight of Regret is a PI mystery. Against his better judgment, Steve Rockfish attends his 40th high school reunion. But the past holds more bad memories than good, more adversaries than friends, and more regrets than delights. And somewhere deep within the folds of time, a murderer lurks, and the blast from the past is painted blood red. Now on the case, Rockfish hunts for a killer, while the killer hunts for Rockfish. Bottom line, The Weight of Regret is for you if you like stories of unforeseen consequences. All right, now we are going to do an excerpt from into the book a little bit. I think we're in chapter 4. And we are actually going to do this scene where Steve arrives at his high school reunion. Steve stood in front of the large double metal doors and turned his head toward Johnny. His date was dressed in a gray pantsuit and white blouse. Her heels brought her nearly to his height. "We don't have to do this. Turn around and drive over to Manny's Seafood Hideaway for a much better meal and stronger drinks. I can drop you off and then hit Frank's with plenty of time to spare." Johnny smiled and shook her head. She knew his Hail Mary was dead on arrival. "She's all dolled up, looking way better than me. And here I am looking for the escape hatch. How can she look forward to this?" "Lighten up, Steve. Your suit looks great, and I'll carry the conversation. Relax and have some fun. Relive some good old days, the ones before the combustion engine and modern medicine," Johnny said. She elbowed Rockfish in the ribs for emphasis. He gasped, then chuckled and held out his arm. She took it, and he swung open the door. Bonaparte High School's side entrance led to the hallway running parallel to the gymnasium. The early arrivals had already lined up before the sign-in table and mingled between the rows of worn lockers on each side. The old school was gearing up for its 78th and final year of operation. Construction of a modern version, 3 miles down the road, was close to completion and scheduled to open for the 2026 school year. Rockfish and Johnny fell into place and shuffled toward the table placed next to the doorway into the gym. What's going to be worse? Stuck in this line, nowhere to hide, and having people ask me my name, or wearing a name tag and having people walk up to me already knowing it's me? The line moved fast, and to Rockfish's chagrin, there was no annoyances. He and Johnny picked up their name tags and had their pictures taken for some sort of post-reunion newsletter. Johnny made sure Rockfish's tag was clipped on correctly, and then they stepped into the gym. Memories flooded back and took him along. He stepped without knowing it, and Johnny moved forward a few steps before realizing it. Recollections of bombardment, better known today as dodgeball, and the only basket made during his stint on the freshman basketball team filled his head. Not much has changed. Dingier, sure. More banners hanging from the rafters. But still the same old place I used to cut through when I was late for class. Girls in gym shorts and me, too shy to even say hello. My kingdom to do it all over again. Too many regrets. "You coming, Steve? Or taking it all in?" Johnny said, and stepped back to where Rockfish stood. She tugged on his sleeve. "Both," Rockfish said and held out his arm. "But let's find that limited open bar before searching for a table. I could use a drink, maybe 2. Anything to loosen you up, she said. I also hope a few will help propel you onto the dance floor later. I need some slam dunk stories to take back to the office on Monday. Johnny smiled, but his head had turned, and the look in his eye told her he was a million miles away again. Jesus, that's morbid. Rockfish stared at a closed set of bleachers to his left. Someone had taped a large poster board to the front. Class of '85, in memoriam. There's a lot more pictures there than I would have thought. He made a mental note to inspect after a few drinks. Gruesome as hell, but I'm interested in seeing who, despite my lifestyle, I've outlived. Call it a pick-me-up. Johnny tugged at his sleeve again, and he turned his head away from the memorial. I've never seen you get lost trying to find an open bar before, Johnny said as the two of them walked across the gym floor. Bunting and streamers covered the remaining bleachers. Circular tables and chairs lined the space around the basketball court's boundary lines. A DJ had set up under the far basket, and Rockfish assumed the rest of the open space was for dancing and mingling. I've got 2 left feet, and I don't want to stand around and talk. It's that or hold court at your table. He imagined a line of his former classmates with his Nicola TV headshot in hand, and me without a Sharpie. See the sign? It looks like drinks are in the hallway on the opposite side. Johnny pointed to the sign on the far wall with a red arrow. Yeah, let's pick up the pace. They hadn't gone 5 paces when Rockfish's head was back on a swivel. Stevie Rockfish! Hey, Hollywood! Fuck me. Not even an empty drink in hand to use as an excuse to go for a refill. Rockfish followed the voice and spun around. An unfamiliar face smiled back. An XXL salmon polo and gray khakis approached at light speed. Rockfish squinted, but he couldn't make out the man's name on the tag from a distance. The man waved his beer bottle over his head and power walked in their direction. By the time the tag had come into focus, it was too late. Escape was impossible. Nick Theophilios. Doesn't ring a bell. Gotta dip a toe into the social pool at some point. Nick, Rockfish said and held out his hand. Stevie, I haven't seen you since that graduation party at David's house. I mean, you're on my DVR, but that doesn't count. Nick said with a large, hearty laugh and faux punch to the shoulder. And who's this? Some upcoming starlet you've promised a career? Rockfish and Johnny's side eyes met, and their eyebrows raised in unison. Nice to meet you, Nick. I'm Johnny McGee, Steve's partner. On the job. I'm on your DVR, too. You must be one of our casual viewers. She stepped back as Nick moved in for a hug. Ouch! This one's got some bite, eh, Stevie? Nick playfully swung at Rockfish's shoulder again. Hey, remember when... Great seeing you, Nick. I was just on my way to the bar. Need to loosen up the old tongue. We'll catch up later, Rockfish said. He and Johnny spun on their heels without waiting for a response. For the love of God, why did I let you talk me into this? I was thinking about apologizing to you, Johnny said. Her nose wrinkled with fret. But I have faith. It can't get any worse. Until we run into some of your old flames. Her elbow landed below Rockfish's ribcage. If you keep this up, there's going to be a bruise there by morning. They followed the red arrows on the wall and, much to Rockfish's relief, the line for drinks was only 3 deep. A few minutes later, they walked away with their hands full. 3 beers for him and a single water with lime for the designated conversationalist and driver. Rockfish led Johnny back down the hall, armed for battle. By the time his shoes touched the wooden gym floor, his supply had dwindled to 2. How about we find some seats where Nicky Boy can't find us and maybe only have to deal with someone I can remember knowing? Johnny looked left and right. Most tables had, at a minimum, at least 1 couple seated. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're going to have some immediate chit-chat no matter where we park. Rockfish raised a beer, number 2 to his lips, and then drained a quarter of the bottle. I'm good. As luck would have it, Johnny spotted a table with the sole inhabitant. At your 3 o'clock. I think that meets all your requirements. Rockfish nodded, and they cut across the gym at mid-court. "Are these taken?" Johnny made eye contact with the woman as they approached. They took the seats opposite the lone occupant. Rockfish looked across the table and drew a blank at first. Then the name tag came into focus, and he swallowed hard. Lenore Cray. Fuck. I would rather have bumped into my junior prom date with a fear boner. Rockfish forced a smile and readjusted his chair. In doing so, his knee slammed against the table leg, and one of his beers teetered before falling over. The golden nectar, its non-human socializing helper, flowed, and the tablecloth did little to absorb it. He looked on, stunned, while Johnny leapt out of her chair and grabbed napkins from the empty place settings and stemmed the tide before it reached the other side. "Still a klutz after all these years, Stevie?" Rockfish forced a smile and found it hard to form any kind of response. The stunning woman across from him, elbows on the table and cleavage wedged in between, was far from the gangly, rail-thin teenager he had last interacted with a few days after graduation. Lenore had blossomed, and at some point become a platinum blonde. Fucking smoking hot for 58, and her dress told everyone within eyesight that she was well aware. After a few seconds, all he could mutter was a simple hello and a wave. Johnny stacked all the soaked napkins into a pile on her plate. There was an awkward silence. She glanced at Rockfish and knew it was time to do the job she promised, come to his non-communicative rescue. "Were you two close? Or perhaps even dated?" Johnny winked, and yet another elbow to Rockfish's ribs. "Neighbors," Rockfish replied. His voice was so soft, Johnny leaned in to catch the left half of what he said. "Lenore lived down the street from me, Mac, and Mom. Johnny McGee, this is Lenore. Is it still Cray?" "Nice to meet you, Lenore." "Likewise, Johnny, and yes, Stevie, I had another one, but that ended up back with my maiden name. Steve and I were occasional friends," Lenore said. She leaned back from the table and recrossed her legs. "You know how teens are. We hung in different social circles." "Yeah, something like that." His voice was softer than before, and Lenore appeared to take it as a cue. "Well, it was nice seeing you again, Stevie, and meeting you, Johnny. I'm going to mingle a bit before the scheduled festivities begin, and we're glued to these chairs." Lenore smiled and stood up. Rockfish walked as she watched down. Rockfish watched as she walked down the line of tables, waving and making small chit-chat along the way. He let out a heavy sigh when his old neighbor was out of earshot. Johnny looked over. His facial expression gave her cause for concern. "What was that all about? You look like someone ran over your dog." "Come on, there's got to be something you're not telling me," Johnny said. "It's a long, complicated story." His voice was still soft, even though Lenore was long gone. "You had a crush on her. I knew it. I thought, there's my posse." Rockfish and Johnny's head snapped right. The voice was familiar, and each cringed before laying eyes on the scene. Rafi Perez stood center court in his best three-piece suit and with the widest smile ever. He pushed a wheelchair, and the woman seated wore a pink Chanel suit, but she was no Jackie Kennedy. "Jesus H. Christ," Rockfish said, and contemplated hiding under the table. Rafi reached down and helped the Lauren Boebert doll model wave. "Good man, you saved us a seat," Rafi shouted across the gymnasium as the couple rolled closer. His smile was Joker-esque. "Can one of you move a chair to the side? My sweetie won't be needing it. I can push her right up to the table. Have you run into Denise yet? All those years of cat and mouse, and she's right over there by the DJ table. Good call on leaving the Band-Aid at home." Johnny's jaw dropped, and her right hand squeezed Rockfish's forearm. Hard. Unadulterated shock prevented her from moving the chair as Rafi had asked, let alone anything else her brain was telling her. Everyone had been on notice that Rafi's schemes and harebrained ideas had increased in shock value since the whole Q ration scam, never mind the final showdown with the Great Value Boys. Remember? Did anyone bother to check him for a head injury afterwards? One look at Rockfish's crimson face showed Johnny it was growing deeper in shade with every second. Fight, not flight. Better do something. He'll embarrass the hell out of you. Most nights, who gives a crap? But tonight, there's got to be something I can do to ease the situation. Rockfish noticed a crowd forming around Rafi. The herd moved slowly in their direction, anticipating the curtain going up on the show. I'll take care of him, Steve. Shawnee gathered strength and stood up. She pushed her chair out of the way and turned toward the incoming distraction. Rockfish's left hand shot out and pulled her back against the table. Sit down. You sold me on this shit show. Come connect with some old friends. It'll be great to catch up, you said. Don't say another word. I'll deal with it. Everyone's already lining up to see the wreckage from the train that's going off the tracks. Rockfish stood up. He took off his suit coat and hung it on the back of the plastic folding chair. Johnny looked down and saw his fists clenched. They could crush diamonds. She followed him a step behind and hoped he was too mad, too focused to notice. He's my partner. I should be there for backup. Do what I can to prevent either of them causing more of a scene than Rafi's entrance already has. Rockfish held up his right hand, palm out, like a crossing guard. The wheelchair and attendee came to an immediate stop. Steve, no need to come out and escort me. We could have found the table on our own. Rockfish said nothing. He lowered his arm and took another step closer. Johnny hung back and noticed most of the attendees had formed a half circle around the impending clash. It is like the playground, all over again. Rockfish stepped around the chair's large wheels and grabbed Rafi by the left arm. He drew his former friend in close. Johnny couldn't hear what was said. With the chance of fisticuffs dropping, albeit for the next couple of seconds, she remained where she stood, at the ready. Rockfish relaxed his grip after almost a minute, turned and walked away. Rafi did the same, but in the opposite direction. Her partner strode past, close enough that she could hear his elevated breathing, but he didn't say a word. He kept going past their table. Johnny couldn't catch him until he was back in line at the bar. Excuse me, she said, as she made her way past those that had followed Rockfish into the hallway, hoping for a more exciting Act 2. Steve, what did you say to him back there? She cut the rest of the line off and fell alongside Rockfish. He shook his head curtly and held up 2 fingers for the bartender. After collecting his 2 Amstel lights, he motioned for Johnny to follow. He led her farther down the dim hallway, disappointing those who had trailed the couple. The looky-loos turned around. Some fell into line for the drinks and others returned to the gym. Johnny could hear the grumblings, but couldn't make out what was being said. So, Johnny said, when Rockfish stopped walking. He leaned against a row of lockers and let out a long, long sigh. I gotta say, you impressed me by unclenching those fists before leaning in to talk to him. Rockfish took a long swig from one of the amber bottles. With his head tilted back against the cold metal, he closed his eyes. Do you need to know? Absolutely. I told him I didn't have any authority to make him leave, but he should consider it, Rockfish said, in so many words. He straightened up and leaned in so his voice wouldn't echo down the hall. But either way, if he ever wanted to patch up what was left of our relationship after the debacle with the Great Value Boys, I didn't want to see him the rest of the night. Stay out of my way, out of my sight. If you feel the need to continue your quest for a reunion class clown, but don't force me into the center ring again. Not tonight. Never. Proud of me, Mom? His head angled backwards and his eyes closed again. Johnny was proud of how calmly he handled the situation, but the snarky comment stung. I can't let him know that one got past my armor. Just keep his blood pressure on the decline. I am, Stevie. She couldn't help herself. Now, can we try to salvage the rest of this evening? If we leave, he wins. and neither of us wants that. I want to walk back over and check out the memorial wall. Pay my respects to those who aren't here. See who I've outlived. Pretty sure when I RSVP'd, someone lost a bet and my picture had to come down. Rockfish grinned, and Johnny knew that, for the moment, things were back to a fragile kind of normal. They re-entered the gym and walked across the hall to where the memorial photos hung. Johnny's head swiveled 180 degrees, looking for any sign of Raffi or Jackie O, but neither came into her field of vision. Since when did Raffi listen to what Steve told him to do? When they reached the large poster board fastened against the closed bleachers, she stood off to the side and let Rockfish have his moment. With his head moved, with his eyes from picture to picture. 12 by her count. After his moment of silence, Rockfish turned and nodded at Johnny. All good, she said. Some surprises, but no one I was especially close to back then. Although it surprised me to see a teacher listed. I've seen nothing else referencing formal faculty tonight. One of your teachers? Johnny said. She fell back into line alongside him as they walked away. Yeah, my 7th grade English teacher, Mrs. Dwyer. She used mimeograph sheets every day and had the nickname Ditto Dwyer. Said she passed last year. I guess it's normal to honor the teachers who have passed since the last reunion. Couldn't tell you, though. This is my first. Rockfish took a long swig from the bottle in his left hand and kept his stride. I know, you've mentioned that a few times. Rockfish led the way back to their previous table, empty albeit for a pile of damp paper napkins. For the next 2 hours, the night rolled smoothly on track and their table remained vacant. Johnny followed along on the printed program and noticed Rockfish looking down at his own, then up and across the gymnasium. Counting the minutes till he can get out of here. Can't wait to hear his recreation of events come Monday for Dan and Lynn. It was during a lull in the evening, when Rockfish had stood to make the trek back to the bar, that Nick again approached. Since the incident with Raffi, he had steered clear of the table. The ones who approached received a series of one-word answers until they took the hint. It wasn't long before Johnny learned Nick was not like the rest. He couldn't and wouldn't take a hint. Nick sat down in Lenora's old seat, elbows propped on the table, chin in his hand. Reading glasses sat perched on the top of his bald head. His polo and khakis stretched to the limit. Did you see the Lenore? Holy shit! Do you remember how we used to? No, I don't. Rockfish's stare across the table stopped Nick in his tracks. His demeanor surprised Johnny. While not calm, he also didn't erupt. Despite the partial train wreck tonight, maybe he's coming around, learning to control his emotions, or at least keeping a better poker face. Relief was short-lived, and Nick moved on to his next topic. Danny Sharollo's death surprised me. He and I used to go fishing after school in his old man's irrigation ponds, Nick said. He picked up a napkin and wiped his forehead before continuing. Lost track of him when he enlisted. Not shocked to hear about Ditto Dwyer. Wasn't she ancient when we had her? Holy shit. Remember when, after the late bell would ring and the entire class would? Rockfish slammed his hand down on the table, and Nick's mouth closed. This time, Johnny reached out and caught his half-empty bottle before it tipped over. He's had enough of something, but I missed what the last straw was. There was no mistaking Rockfish's body language, and Nick stood up without saying another word and moved on to reminisce with another. Johnny waited a minute before testing the waters. Well, I thought we were making strides. What set you off again? She leaned back in her chair and crossed her legs with matching arms. Nothing. Oh, something did. Your face is some sort of hybrid between Hulk smash and wanting to run off and hide. She swiveled her hips in the chair to face him and leaned in. 0 to red line. Good for Lana, not so good for Steve. Rockfish exhaled and dropped his shoulders. Look, I tried this. Maybe I bought some of what you were selling when you pitched this stupid fucking idea. He reached around and pulled his jacket off the back of the chair and draped it over his arm. But if you think I'll unburden myself to you under some traffic light, well, you haven't been paying attention the past 4 years. Sure, we can go, Johnny said and stood up, but pushing it all down and feeding that ulcer isn't the best play. If you want to wait until it bleeds, so be it. The only thing I'm spilling on the drive home is one of these free beers. Johnny closed her eyes and shook her head, the typical Rockfish escape plan. Don't look at me that way. You're the DD. Don't tell me that wasn't the agreement. And this isn't your first trip out with me at night. No, I'm going to go fill my hands and I'll meet you out in the parking lot. Don't push it. It'll come out in due time. Always has, no matter what brave front he puts up in the beginning. But tonight, he grew annoyed to almost raging when his old acquaintance began traveling down memory lane. Rockfish dug into his pants pockets and tossed Johnny Lana's key fob. She caught it and spun on her heels. She looked back over her shoulder. And? Rockfish grew annoyed, but she didn't care. I'll drive around and pick. A loud scream followed by a woman stumbling into the gym before slipping on the waxwood floor and falling on her face cut the last half of Johnny's sentence off. Another person who can't handle the past without binge drinking. Johnny turned back around, but the woman kept screaming, "Someone call 911! He's dead! So much blood!" All right, that is the excerpt from The Weight of Regret by Ken Harris. And as you heard, that is the start of his high school reunion. So some time ago, I had a conversation with author David Housewright. He writes the Mac McKinsey series about mysteries as literature that document the modern experience. Having gone back since that conversation and recently read The Maltese Falcon and Kiss Me Deadly and others from especially the early 1900s, there is no doubt that well-crafted mysteries tell the stories of day-to-day habits, current technology, and political climates without talking directly about any of these. The Weight of Regret, as well as others in this series, do exactly that. On the surface, we have a good old-fashioned murder mystery with a financial scam side story. Beneath, though, are modern themes of elder fraud, mental health, and the unintended consequences of trying to be one of the crowd. It is especially poignant reading it in May, which is Mental Health Month, where one of the priorities is destigmatizing the common affliction. So Steve Rockfish and his partner, Johnny McGee, I'm sorry, I don't know why I am so tongue-tied today. I actually do. I'm really tired. Let's try this again. Steve Rockfish and his partner Johnny McGee are joined by retired Baltimore police captain Dan Decker to investigate a vicious murder during Steve's high school reunion. The phishing scheme that left a little old lady $30,000 poorer, and consulting on security readiness for a high-tech company. The addition of a third partner, which means a third storyteller, adds bulk and depth to the story, expanding the dynamic from prior books. My favorite aspect of The Weight of Regret is the pacing. The different storytellers, multiple storylines, and depth to which the characters are invested combine to make this a real page-turner. Series lovers, this one is ready for you. The Weight of Regret is the fourth and final in the Rockfish and McGee series. I've read most of them and do recommend beginning with book 1. The cases are separate, but the character origins are such a large part of the magic of this series that to miss a little is to miss a lot. The Weight of Regret was released from Mr. Ken Harris himself and is available in digital and print formats from online book retailers. So a little about my friend Ken. He spent 32 years with the FBI before retiring as a cybersecurity executive and turning his attention to crime fiction. His From the Case Files of Steve Rockfish series combines old-school detective grit with sharp humor and a modern edge, shaped by decades of real-world experiences. A New Jersey native now living on Virginia's northern neck, Ken shares life with his wife, Nicolita, and their 2 Labradors, Shady and Chalupa Batman. When he's not writing, he's cheering on Philly sports or enjoying a Monte Cristo cigar with a pour of Irish whiskey. soundtracked by Tool. Connect with him on his website, kenharrisfiction.com, or Facebook and Instagram. Then join us Monday for Season 9, Stuff That Can Kill You, where mechanical is our sticky means of murder, in Finely Ground Karma by Jason Little. Mysteries to Die For is hosted by TG Wolff and Jack Wolff. All right, Jack, take us out.